Well, hey everyone, wanted to introduce something to you that's going to be coming up in the first 100 days of 2010, which is just around the corner, I know. The thing with this project or experience that we're going to have together is that we want to take a significant period of time and focus during that significant period of time for an intense experience that we're calling the first 100 days. During this time of the first 100 days, we wanted to concentrate on two things. One is our relationship to God, and secondly, our relationship to those around us. So, with that in mind, here's how this is going to go. The first 30 days, we're going to call the church to prayer and fasting. That we would pray and spend significant time in prayer. We would spend focused time in prayer. We would spend individual time and corporate time in prayer. We would have a lot of praying going on during this time. And add to that fasting. We did this back in 2008. If you were here, you may remember this for a period of time where we, once a week, fasted from something that we lived on. For the vast majority of us, that's going to be food. That we would take 24 hours, Wednesday lunch to Thursday lunch or something like that, and fast from food and use that time to really focus on the Lord and ask Him for some things, both for our personal lives as well as for the life of the church. Some of us, though, because of medical reasons or other things, can't fast from food, and so, or there may be things that are more important to us than food. So we may be giving up internet or TV or texting or anything like that. So for the first 30 days, we're going to call the church to prayer and fasting. In the last 70 days, the challenge is going to be moving our eyes not off of God, but with God to those who are around us. And with that in mind, the challenge is going to be this, that we would take the last 70 days and for those 70 days, tell one person per day about something that God has done in our life, and then, when appropriate, invite them to church. And if you can imagine the impact that would have if everyone would embrace the idea of not only prayer and fasting, turning our eyes to God, but then turning with God our eyes to those who are around us and concentrating for that period of time to tell someone about something that God has done. You may think about a coworker, you may think about a neighbor, you may think about someone that you encounter at Kroger, you may think about someone you bump into at a restaurant, whatever, but just take time and tell them about something that God has done in your life. And then, as it's appropriate, invite them to church. Why the caveat, as it's appropriate? Well, because sometimes they go to other churches, sometimes they live in other places, so it's not appropriate. We want to develop in us the idea that, hey, God is at work in those people around us, even those who don't know Him. He is at work in their lives to draw them to Himself. And so by us bearing testimony, giving witness to the things that God has done, we get to join God in His work. And the last thing I'll say about that is that some are really, I guess some would get really worried about the legalism of it all, and are we going to take names, are we going to check, do you have to sign a form, do you have to, whatever. Here's the answers to the questions. No, we're not going to be legalists about this. We've tried to kick all the Pharisees out, and so nobody's keeping tabs, nobody's counting heads, nobody's going to ask you to sign a form or anything like that. It is a challenge for us to rise to. And I'm telling you, as the pastor, and we've agreed to this as a staff, we're going to be the pace setters on this, and we're counting on many of you, to join us in this. What about, can I tell the same person over and over again? Absolutely. It might even be the greatest thing that you could do witness-wise, is to continually affirm to them the truth about God. And so what we're looking for is culminating in or around Easter, those first 100 days of focused time, and we believe that the first 100 days will really change lives.